I've had experiences with before. So just to kind of get into it right now, one of the things that I see if we were to, when we want to talk about working with people in terms of helping people, that is really essential right now in this climate is it matters dealing with finance. Financial literacy is something that is very huge. We go to schools and our school curriculums do not teach us anything about money and finance. We learn numbers, we learn math, but we do not associate any of it in terms of how it works with numbers. And see, here's the problem where I want you to understand where there's a wickedness and then where there's this error is because the things that you're taught, the things that we're taught in schools, you can be everything you want to be. Work hard, get a job, and work 40 hours and retire, and then take pride in what you do in that matter. It's all what I would call a slave labor mentality, and that is not the mentality, and that is not the way of how God works. And so, what I would do is I would talk to individuals because I prove to each and every individual in any underserved community that you have everything that it takes to be financially free by simply asking them two questions. I'll say to them one, and I've done this for many years. I say, if you were given $1 million, what would you do with it? Most people would say to me and say, I would get out of debt. I'll pay off my mom's bills and go on vacation. However, it ended this matter. Okay, fine. And then I'll say, if you were given a large apple tree that was planted in your backyard, would you sell it for $1 million if it's harvesting apples? 99% of the people that would answer that would come back to me would say, what fool would chop down an apple tree if it's harvesting $1 million? And I'll say, the same fool that will spend $1 million. I'm sorry. What fool would chop down an apple tree if it's harvesting apples? And I'll say the same fool that's spending $1 million. And usually they're a little puzzled at first because they don't understand. And I'll tell them it's because $1 million at 10% interest invested will make you $100,000. Now, I proved to them that you have the ability to understand seed time and harvest. So your circumstance is not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you're less than. It's because you've been lied to. And now that you see and you've answered for yourself that you can fulfill and become financially free by your words, when you understand the logic of that, now it's not a matter of taking my word for it. It's now applying what you know and associating to what the things that you did not know. And see, here's the thing that we got to understand. We live in a world today that is very, very shallow. We use words, we say all kinds of things that is, everybody says everything, but nobody knows anything. We talk about calories, we talk about fat, we talk about metabolism, but nobody knows what it is. We talk about money, we talk about these things, but it's always left up to the person who's to give you an answer based off of another third person's answer. And we don't know if that's true or not. And so as a result, where we are, as a result, it's coming down to understanding the truths of matters. And so one of the things that when we talk about finances, I say to ask to a person, because it always comes around where people talk about being rich versus being wealthy and poor and whatnot, and it's very loosely used. And I say to a person, I say, what does it mean to be wealthy? And usually a person will say, oh, well, to have a lot of money. And I say, well, what does it mean to be rich? And they say, oh, to have a whole lot of money. And I say, well, there's no two words that mean the same exact thing. In fact, if there's two words that are used in the same sentence, that means they're not the same thing. In the Bible, it says the rich man's wealth is, and forgive me a quote, quoting what it was saying was a result of his harvest. But the point of the matter and what the Bible was saying in the scripture, and I'll come back to that later, is that it's referring to it saying the rich man's wealth. So rich and wealth can't be the same thing if it's referred to in one sentence, and if they're both referred in one sentence. And so what I say, why I asked that to them, I asked them that is because it's important to understand that one is figurative and one is literal. Okay, being wealthy is simply what's in your pocket. It's literal. It's what I have. You can win the lottery, you're wealthy. You can earn money from a high-paying job, you're wealthy. You can invest, you're wealthy, okay? You have money. Now, that has nothing to do with your mentality with money. And so when we talk about rich, that is a figurative term that has everything to do with how you think and how you view money. Now, it's a figurative term, and I call it mentality. And some people say mentality. Well, how is that associated with mentality? Have you ever heard of the term poverty mentality? If you've heard of poverty mentality, there has to be something that contrasts that. So rich is what is how you think, whereas wealth is what's in your pocket. And to understand the contrast between a poverty mentality and a rich mentality, a poverty mentality simply views money as leverage to buy things. A poverty mentality simply views money as leverage to buy things, whereas a rich mentality views money as leverage to make more money. And so that's where the difference comes in when you have a person who says, oh, I'll take my $1,000,000 and I'll go spend it somewhere, versus one who says, I'm going to take my $1,000,000 and I'm going to invest it and so it can harvest. That is the only thing in the matter. And what I prove to an individual when they understand the seed time and harvest method that I showed to them with the apple tree, I proved to them that you are rich. You have a rich mentality. We don't go by what's in our pocket. Seasons change. Seasons can come and go. Money is things. Money can come and go, just like friends, houses, things in life. Seasons come and go. The only thing that we can't get back is time. But when we understand this, it now helps us realize that, okay, I can do this. And now from there, we need the empowerment that is possible. So what I provide and what we're here to doing and invested in you is not only just providing you the tools and the knowledge of what we're giving you, but also empowering you to be able to do it and helping you fulfill that by transforming you. So I did for many years speak with many individuals and share messages like this to empower them. And then they say, oh, this was great. And then after a while, 3 months later, nothing happens. I follow up with them and it's as if they never heard the message. Not that it wasn't a good message, but it was because for most of us, we hear a great message, it was good, and then 3-4 days later, after nothing was really done, it just kind of is over. And so what I find that is essential is being empowerment is not enough. We need transformation. And so me putting myself in positions to be able to help individuals financially, help individuals physically, help individuals in their mind and identifying themselves and building character, all of the means by working with them in the forms of therapy, mentorship, however it be. But now we are working with you where you are at this point so that you're not just changing your circumstances, but you're also changing with your circumstances.